far as the training thing, it really came out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
We talked about this obviously before. How did you even say, like, what made you think to say, I want to start training people, helping people get better? Is there like one person you started with?
Yeah, well, it just, like I said, it was on accident. So one of my closest friends, Jared Jordan, who runs Mission Hoops.
Oh, I know him.
Yeah.
I don't know him, but we follow each other. I like him.
Yeah,
I like him.
that's like I'm his daughter's God.
Oh,
God
wow.
dad. Like,
Didn't he go to?
He went to Lost Po, then he ended up going to Liberty, and then he ended up going to East Bay. He finished off at East Bay.
East Bay. I feel like I was either coaching at Dominguez when he was at East Bay or something. But I remember him. And he's a cool dude. I follow him on social media and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
He was trying to get me to come back to Lost Po to play with him because he had played 1 year. He had one more year left, and he was trying to decide if he was going to leave or stay.
He was killing that Lost Po.
Yeah, he was serving that first year.
He was killing that
and,
Lost Po.
I was debating about it, and then I came up there to do a recruitment workout video for him. And me and Costello ended up talking finally after all them years. And I went in his office, and he was like, you know what you're doing. You should just do that. Or if you're going to come play, just come play. But him just saying, because he was watching, he was like, you know what you're doing. That gave me more confidence in what I was doing. So, but before that, I mean, I jumped the story a little bit. What got me going was I was debating on coming back to playing, and I was at 24 in Stockton. I'm working out myself, and a dad by the name of Lamar Saffold, I'll never forget him. I ain't talked to him in years, but I'll never forget him. He had Lamar Saffold Jr., which was his son, and he walked up to me like, man, can my son jump in there with you? I'm not thinking nothing of it. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. We're working out, and he was like, what days you gonna be up here? I told him, and maybe 2 weeks later, he just came in and gave me $100. And I'm like, what's this for? And he was like, man, the stuff you showed him worked. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not really thinking of it like that now. D-Free, Tion, KP, like all them is my boys. I knew that this was their thing.
Right.
But this wasn't my thing per se. So I tried to get him the money back. He was like, nah, I'm about to bring some more people. I'm about to bring some more people next week. So I'm like, all right, whatever. So he brought some more kids. Within a month and a half, 2 months, I had 30 kids.
What?
So at that point, coming from where I come from, I start thinking about numbers. But then
now your hustle mentality coming in.
It start coming in, and I'm thinking about it. And I always had a passion for hoop because I would train kids, give advice, do whatever if a kid needed it. But now I start thinking about other things, and I was at a crossroads of saying, okay, I got to change what I'm already doing. I got to do something else because I was seeing what was going on with my family and things like that. And I'm like, I can't go this route. You know what I'm saying? And so another close friend of mine's named Aaron Lacey, he's like my dog. We done been through it all together. I was trying to decide on going to barber school or doing training. And he just told me, I'll never forget the talk. We was in my room. He said, if you stay going into barber school, you're going to stay in that lane that you're already in because it cross paths. If you do this, you're dealing with people, kids, you're going to do a lot more, and you still going to make your bread. And that was the last talk I had. And from there, like literally, I slept maybe for 3 weeks, and I kept dreaming about it. I always tell people that it sounds corny, but I swear to God, like I kept having dreams about training for some reason.
Wow.
Then I was like, all right, look, I'm going to take my last, I'm going to figure it out. 10 years later, I'm doing what I'm doing at a high level.
So you've been doing this for 10 years?
It's going on 10 years.
10
years in October.
Has it always been Elite IQ Hoops?
It started off with no name for the first 2 months, and then I came up with the brand name, and then it stuck after that. So a lot of those kids like Cameron Valles, Colizell Lewis, like the older guys that I post, those were my first kids.
That's
that are playing
crazy.
pro in college and things like that. Those are my first. I had them when they were like 7.
How did you start getting out there? Just word of mouth?
Yeah, well, once I started looking at I started looking at the demographics of things. Like with any business that you're about to start, you got to look at, is there competition? If there is competition, what are they doing? You're not doing the business and the nature of what you're doing. And I started asking. I wasn't ever afraid to ask questions.
Right.
So I was lucky to have Sam Luong, who's in Sacramento. I got introduced to him through D-Free. I had D-Free was my trainer from like 19 till forever. You get what I'm saying? And so I had people who were already in the nature of the business, and I wasn't asking them training questions. I was asking about the business part. So I took what I needed from each one of those two, and then I kind of cultivated in my own of where I was at, because in any genre of business, you got to see where you at. Like I said, the demographics, how it's going to work. I can't charge what people would charge where there's more money.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And I'm coming in a time where Stockton was like, the crash was going on. There wasn't a lot of money. So it was a lot of trial and error things. And then it just took off. And I started off at a Boys and Girls Club doing it for free at a Boys and Girls Club for about 2-3 months, just getting my feet wet. Parents was just promoting. And then we lost the Boys and Girls Club situation. And how I ended up, I guess you could say, becoming corporate was I was illegally doing workouts at 24 Hour Fitness. At this time, I didn't know nothing about the contracts per se fully. I knew Deshaun and those guys had contracts, but I didn't know how it worked. So I was just having kids get memberships, and it was a guy named Marcus that was was the assistant manager. And for a month straight, I probably had like 25 kids get memberships, right, close to it. And he came in and he was like, bro, you helping us get our, because they were struggling. He was like, you're helping us get our numbers. I didn't know what he meant by that.
I was just about to say that. That had, like, they weren't mad at you, right?
Nah, I mean, theoretically.
Technically, it's
they
wrong.
could have been.
Right.
But because it was helping them, and he was young, vibrant dude, you know, upbeat. He was hip to the game. He wasn't an old guy. That's normally, those are the type of guys that's usually, like, he was a young dude. And he pulled me into the office, and he was like, look, like, we got to try to figure out how to make this. But he wasn't the one that can call the shot. So he was like, I'm going to introduce it to the general manager, and then I'm going to have you guys meet. His name was Gabe. And then he did that, and I would say a week later, I met with Joe. It all was a perfect storm. It was a guy by the name of Joe who was a VP of 24 Hour Fitness for basketball operations who controlled all contracts. Joe ended up being on a tour checking out each club that had basketball courts. It just so happened all this happened, and
it's lining up.
It's lining up to when he's about to hit Stockton. And
so now you can show him in person what you're doing.
And plus, he's cool with D Free, Triple Threat, Tion, all these guys already because they were the first ones. And those are my brothers. So it was like a shoe-in of a connection. And when he came in, like less than 2-3 weeks, I had a contract on the table.
Wow.
Yeah. And the craziest thing from this, well, I tell people, like, you can't never doubt God and what your purpose is. I legitimately only had $10,000 to my name. It cost me close to $10,000 to get my contract. I mean, as far as all the insurances they needed and get my business, you know, solidified.
That is crazy.
And it cost that, and I spent my last on it.
I remember you telling me that a long time ago, that 10,000 number. That's crazy. And then, so are you still under contract with them? Or
No. So with 24, and this is another, like, crazy thing, was it took me a year. I was there for a year. And when it came down to me re-signing my contract, 24 had just sold their company to someone else. So that's why you don't see Triple Threat in 24 Hour Fitness no more. So out of the 13, the numbers either 13 or 16 basketball organizations across the country, it was only 2 left. Even right now, it's only Sam and somebody else somewhere else, right? That's in Sacramento. They cut everybody else. And so I ended up getting a call from Joe a week before it was supposed to be announced what was going on. And he was like, man, I'm sorry, bro, but this is what's going on. They just laid me off. I mean, they laid the VP down and everybody else down. And I called, first person I called, I was with my girl at the time, the first person I called was Jared. And I'm boo-hoo crying.
So wait, you already spent this 10,000?
I spent the 10, and my business is starting to rock. But I'm not in an area where, see, Stockton isn't like the Bay where you can find a gym anywhere. It ain't like that. So I'm on some, in my mind, I'm on the hype of, damn, I lost a contract, so I lost a gym. Ain't nowhere else I can go. You get what I'm saying? And I'm boohoo crying because I'm really starting to see not profit, but I'm seeing the business grow, and I'm believing in it, and I done cleaned up my image. I'm doing all this stuff, and I ain't never went through nothing like that before. You
That's
know what I'm saying?
crazy.
And he was like, bro, it's gonna be cool, da-da-da-da, and I ended up relocating, and I was going to Hayward to work out in Hayward at the church.
Hold on one second. If you don't mind, how did that work with the contract with 24? Did they like pay you a salary? Did you?
No. It was we all had 70-40 splits, 70-30 splits. I'm sorry, it was a 70-30 split. So whatever you brung in, they had to get 30% of your profits every month. So that's how the contracts used to be constructed. I don't know how they are now, but that's how they.
I
were
mean,
constructed
how
at
do
that
they know
time.
how much you're making though?
I mean, you got to check in at the door, so you give them a list. You know what I mean?
Of people
Of people that's gonna come in. I mean, if you organize and your scheduling is right, you know.
Did you make your pricing or did they do it?
No, at that time, I made my own pricing.
Like your rate?
My rate. Of
Gotcha.
Now, from what I've gathered over the years, is that they come up with the pricing of what they want, and they take their money off the top from the rip. But at that time, I got in it. I guess you could say the golden era, where you just give them what you give them, and you keep it pushing.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but
Yeah, no, you're good. You're good. You're good.
But you were at Hayward.
Yeah, so I ended up relocating because I couldn't find a gym, and I wasn't gonna do workouts in the park.
Right.
So I ended up relocating to Hayward.
How many people do you have right now? Do you know?
At this point,
No, not right now. I'm saying at this
At
moment
that
that you're
time?
talking about.
no more than maybe like 40 consistently. Like we want to say consistent revenue stream coming in every month, about 40 kids. Here and there, more give or take. but
Yeah, I
about
know
40
how
kids a
that
month.
goes, trust
Yeah,
me.
about 40 kids a month. So I ended up relocating to Hayward, and I was driving back and forth, commuting 4 days a week.
From Stockton to
From
Hayward?
Stockton to Hayward, staying for 3-4 hours, driving back home in the traffic, coming back, doing that. And I was fortunate that my boy Marcus Smith, one of the best trainers in the Bay as well, he opened his doors for me and allowed me to do stuff there. And I did okay. Like it was starting to pick up. And then a parent called me from Stockton maybe after about 8 months. And was like, man, I found the gym if you want to use it, da-da-da-da. And I had just had knee surgery. I'll never forget, I had knee surgery in December. He called me a week before knee surgery. It was January 20-something, because I did my first camp with Sam. And I announced, I sent the email blast out to the parent. I'm not knowing it's going to be who's going to show up. I would say, hey, I'm back. I'm going to be back this day, da-da-da. That first week I got back, I made $3,000.
To make him open up. All right, so when we're here, I don't want this. All right, I'm catching. I'm here. I'm a threat to go to the rim. Jab at an angle. Last one.
Never forget that, bro.
In 1 week.
I made $3,000 from signups in 1 week. And I looked at it as, I think because, I left and nobody filled the void at that time. Now it's a lot of trainers in
Right.
Stockton.
They're everywhere.
At that time, I was the only one. So people was just so excited. And then from there, it was just all she wrote. You know what I mean? So it's really been, I've been through everything you can imagine with this, from being up, being down, being up, being down. And you don't think about it when you in it. The only time I can think about it is when I do interviews like this one. But it's been a lot, and I never, I never wavered. I knew that this was what I was supposed to be doing, just by the outpour of what parents were saying on the regular, and the love I was getting from the community, no matter where I was at. And after a while, I just started doing brand extension type things, and
now it's
what it
huge.
is. I can say it's for sure a statewide brand, but damn sure a national brand. 'Cause I took it on the road.
And then how far into you training did you start getting into coaching and stuff?
That came maybe my fourth year. My fourth year. A lot of people label me as like a girls trainer.